legends foretold the Voidwalkers returning from the stars. Now, only the Dice Slingers are left to fight. My name is Rhapsody and welcome to SpellRogue. SpellRogue's just come out in its early access phase. Finally, this is a game that I've been keeping an eye on since I think 2 years ago in the Next Fest? In one of the earliest Next Fests 2 years ago. Finally at an early access stage, I am very, very keen to get to play it on the channel. This is a deck builder. This is a roguelike. If you are familiar with games like Slay the Spire and Dicey Dungeons, some things will seem familiar to you. But this game feels good. I have a little familiarity, as you may imagine from someone who's been keeping an eye on the development state of the game. A word from the creators of Guide-like Games here. Greetings, Dice Slinger. Thank you for checking out SpellRogue. We've always developed the game in collaboration with our community, firmly believing the most effective way to create deeply engaging experiences is by involving the community from the outset in an open development process. So go help shape SpellRogue by sharing your thoughts on Discord and report any bugs or imbalances you may encounter. We really appreciate it. Thanks. May your dice roll true, Tim and Torbjorn. Really interestingly, this is an incredibly successful design process for this kind of game, where tight and deliberate balance and clarification of edge cases and making things feel more intuitive to players through a constant dialogue with the community can make a game feel so damn good. That is the same process that made that effectively created the roguelike deck building genre, or rather the exploration and explosion thereof, through Slay the Spire. Similar iterative development process with the community. Let's get into this. The game will explain itself to us, so I'm not going to leap over the top of it to do so. Let's just move into our first battle over here on the left-hand side. We can see we've obviously got a node-based system for our map movement there. Casting spells. Dice are rolled at the start of every turn. That is up to the maximum amount of dice that you can roll per turn. Click and hold the left mouse button to pick up dice, drag the dice to the appropriate spell with a compatible socket, then it's cast, and then repeat until you are out of dice, and then hit the end turn button. I think the rest of this is going to be easier to explain in motion, actually. So Ice Spear here will accept a dice of value 4 to 6. I can cast it 3 times a turn because it has 3 charges, and it will deal X damage. So X is going to be the number that I put into this. So on this turn, I'm only going to be capable of killing one of these targets, and I'm going to have to defend against the other one. Unless I want to reroll to try and go for a high roll. Fluctuate will take any die, and 3 times a turn, it will re-roll it. So sure, let's see if I can just find a 6. It's not a 6. A 6 that can kill a single character in a single action that'll do it. Give me the ability to use my 3 charges of Ice Spear to kill both of the units on the field. So you can see the natural merger between Slay the Spire and Dicey Dungeons here that I'm talking about. I'm not just talking about dice mechanics, I'm not just talking about having cards and structure of a roguelike. Split target dice in 2 is our first potion here, as well as choose and gain a spell. We've got Arctic Point, a 2 to a 6. It will deal X damage, and then it will re-roll my lowest dice. There's also Sleet Sky. This will only take a roll of 2. It can cast itself 2 times per turn. It will give us 1 Hailstorm, and then it will re-roll dice. Hailstorm says you gain a Fury when rolling dice this turn, which just increases the damage on your next attack. Cool. And there's the Frozen Shield, which is 8 on a countdown socket. So a countdown socket will count down by the amount of pips on the die that I enter into it. So an 8 will be triggered by a 4 and a 4, or a 4 and a 6. You can override, or overload rather, the amount of countdown that it has. And this would give us 6 block and 4 fury. I'll be taking Sleet Sky. I want to see if I can get a slick reroll build going on here. Obviously, the character that we're currently playing as, Lapis, does have, by base, the ability to reroll things themselves with Fluctuate. So if I did ever roll a 2, I put that into the sleet socket, it re-rolls itself and gives me an extra damage to my next attack. I can then use all of my re-roll charges in Fluctuate in order to just increase my damage on following attacks. Ooh, speaking of, 6 damage. Whoa! I'm gonna take it. Cast Ice Spear 3 times that turn for a 6, a 6, and a 4. A total of 16 damage. 16, yes, 16 damage to the enemy. The enemy gave themselves 2 Grow, which is buff that gives them +2 power at the start of each round. However, I have a very clear path to victory here if I can simply, well, simply reroll into another 4 to 6 value would have worked, but I can also use a reroll from Sleet Sky now. And that might be necessary. Never mind, I end up getting another 4, so I will have the 2 Ice Spears. But also, I did get 2 Fury by doing those rerolls, so I can use a single fight to take this enemy out. Because it does 7 damage with the 2 Fury. I think a lot of these mechanics are relatively intuitive, so I don't want to labor over introducing them, which is why I may be running a little fast here at the moment. Choose a spell. Contamination, a 5 to a 6, it has 2 charges, applies 3 poison. If the target is attacking, it also applies 2 weak to them. So poison, they will lose 3 health at the start of the turn and then reduce poison by 1. Okay, so a poison mechanic that we're very familiar with, a DOT mechanic that we're very familiar with from other things. And then weak, reduces attack damage on target for 1 turn. So that just straight up nullifies some of the incoming damage from them just straight off the top. There's also Noxious Ritual, which is a countdown, 4 countdown. Roll 2 dice, but receive 1 poison yourself. I think if I ever rolled a Sleet Sky, this would actually be really good. I might be able to get the enemy down before the end of the turn, so not have to pay any poison damage. And then finally, Chill Core, a 4 to a 6, we gain 3 block, and when this is depleted, so if we've used it 2 times in the turn and it has no more charges left, it applies 3 weak to all enemies. That's very powerful. I'm going to take Noxious Ritual because I want to. Let's go for the event. I like checking these out. Okay, so I can pay 25 gold. I have 64 currently up in the top right to gain a Glimpse of the Void. Glimpse of the Void has a 12 countdown and 1 charge. You gain a Potency. Potency just gives you the ability to roll an extra die, so it's kind of like having an extra energy every turn if we're analogous to something else. And you also apply Broken to a random other spell. Broken spells are repaired by just sacrificing a die into them. Or I can disenchant a spell and gain a Void spell. I think I'm going to want to do that. I have no defense except for Aqua Fortis, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to put my foot on the gas. Yeah, here's the kind of reason I might want to do something like that. Invoke Mana. Only takes a 5, but it'll then roll 2 dice. I can cast it 3 times in an entire battle because its charges don't restore. Dark Arts is an 8 cooldown, 2 charges, apply 2 Rupture, and then increase Rupture by 2 this combat. So this is a scaling effect that I can use. Rupture, incidentally, increases the damage received by a target for a turn. And then finally, Darkstar. 3 charges, and it auto-casts on any attack spell cast. We can see here that Invoke Mana and Dark Arts are both considered to be utilities. Darkstar itself is considered to be an attack. And deals 2 damage to a random target. I'm taking Invoke Mana, and I don't regret anything. I'm taking a Shard. I can use Shards to either unlock more slots to put more spells in, or to upgrade a spell in one of 2 different ways. So let's have a look at our upgrades here. Invoke Mana. Of course, I can't upgrade my basic spells, by the way, at the moment. The ones that I started with just by chance of being Lapis. Having a look at Invoke Mana, I can change that to be 1, and it's a countdown, so it will accept anything in Invoke Mana. Interesting. Sleet Sky, I could make accept a 2 to a 6, or give us an ability to do it one more time per turn. Noxious Ritual, I could make cheaper, or I could make it roll more dice for me. The fact is that Ice Spear, I can still only do a maximum of 18 damage per turn, unless I'm then considering the contribution of Hailstorm and Fury. So Hailstorm, and then re-rolling while Hailstorm generates Fury. Fury just gives me extra damage on the attacks. So I wonder if maybe I want to hold on to this shard until I find a damage spell. An attack spell that I'm comfortable with. Invoke Mana does feel like a really good upgrade to become 1 cost though. So I made that happen. Despite everything I said, here's what I did. Ooh, 2 6s. The enemy has Primordial Blaze. Oh, sorry, the enemy is called Primordial Blaze. They have 70 health. They are gaining 1 Intensify, which increases the amount of attacks this enemy performs. Ah, okay, so this is... I need to take this enemy down as soon as possible. That's a classic. I do want to get Sleet Sky active as soon as possible, but, like, how? How would that represent itself? There it is. Come on, let me get another 2. No, no more 2s. Blank. Well, I still get to do a lot of damage this turn. It's just I've also used all of my invoked mana. Perhaps this was not the most clever set of plays I've ever made. Especially because I have literally no ability to defend. I did forget about that for a second. Oh! I love it too. One of my favorite numbers. Oh, I love it too. I'm gonna use Noxious Ritual because I have 2 Hailstorm this turn. It seems like the perfect time for it. Perfect. I can get 18 on my first hit, and then another 2 6s. Yeah, I should be able to take out the enemy next turn. Sure, I take 10 damage. Sure, I take another 2 to my poison, but honestly, the incredibly aggressive line here might have been the way to go. Invoke Mana comes back next fight. It's not like it's a huge downside here for us. Right to you, buddy. I should find some defense. Blast Pot, a potion for dealing 15 damage. Another spell here. Apply Focus Toxin. Apply 5 poison, and then transfer all poison to target. This would give me the ability to transfer my own poison from Noxious Ritual to the target, and Noxious Ritual itself has an upgrade that gives me another die and another poison. I would need an ability to get rid of that poison in order to play it at all. There's also Brine Bubble. It only takes an even. It gives us 4 block, no matter what. But if I give it a 6, it then re-rolls it. That would actually be a really good tool for me right now. Anyway, I'm taking focus. Don't judge me. Void Burn Sensor. Unless I die. Then I feel like, okay, shoulder responsibility, right? A little bit mine. End of each turn, deal 1 damage to the front enemy for each dice rolled this turn. Yeah, that's gonna be better than another shard for us. I think I'm taking Invoke Mana out, despite the fact that it's upgraded. No, I don't want to put Focus Toxin in until Noxious Ritual is also upgraded. Yeah, I think I'm fine with that. I'm gonna go 1 over to this event. Give 8 max health. For the Gilded Dowsing Rod, we are still on the 1st floor. When moving on the map, gain 7 gold. That's great. So now 8 of the health that I lost in the last fight doesn't even matter. I was gonna lose it anyway. Let's go for another elite fight. Why not? I have 15 damage in a pot. Oh, that's poison. That's not poison. Hang on. Corrupt Abbot is doing 2 damage 3 times and then debuffing 3 random spells with Infected. Infected says receive 1 damage for each stack of Infected at the end of the turn, and then it spreads Infected to another spell when played. So you don't want to play them that turn unless you are absolutely desperate. Oh my god, we've got 2 2s right now. You don't know what you're doing to me. Double Sleet Sky, and then I just start invoking some mana because I can. Why not? Because realistically, I don't need to do it anymore right this turn. That's why not. Yeah, that's why not. Yeah, I need another Ice Sphere. I'm gonna have to invoke some more mana. Thank you for giving me a 6 finally. 35 damage to you. Another 5 damage to you. Another 5 damage to you. Next turn, I only have to do 5 damage to kill you with a Blast Pot. Oh, I also rolled so many die that turn. I forgot about the Void Burn sensor and it did a bunch of damage to you at the end of the turn. I could have killed you with the pot. No, I could have saved myself out. Oh well. I'm just gonna have to kill you without the pot this turn. Foot on the gas. All gas, no brakes, baby. Depths of Power. Only accepts a pip value of 1. Has only 1 charge, but you gain 3 power and then you mute this spell for 3 turns. Cannot be played for 3 turns, cannot be removed or overridden. There's also Arctic Point, and then there's Brine Bubble again, baby. I wanted that. Dark Heart. Roll a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and this 5 and a 6 in that order. And then apply 2 Mark to all enemies. When is that ever going to happen? Marked increases the damage taken by those enemies by 50% for 2 turns, but I'm taking a shard. When was that ever going to happen? I will need to have some defense at some point. I'm going to have to get an additional slot here. Hello! Oh, I love a 2 in an opening hand. Pop that into the Sleet Sky. Oh man. Not getting another 2, eh? I might have got another 2. Woohoo! Hey, I can even re-roll my 6s with Brine Bubble. Might as well. Okay, so I've rolled 13 this turn. Void Burn Sensor is all charged up, and now I've rolled 17 this turn. 1, 2, 3. The enemy was igniting my spell, which caused me to take damage when I cast that spell, but that's not relevant. 1 turn kill. I know I'm not going to be able to do that much, further in the game, but right now, woohoo! Frozen Shield, gain 6 block, apply 4 Fury, or gain 4 Fury, sorry. Icicle Blade, deal 4 damage and then increase damage by 1 this combat. This would be a pretty good spell to cast multiple times per turn. Icicle Blade could also be upgraded to only be able to cast once per turn, but increase its damage by 4 each time it's cast. Or to be able to cast more times per turn, for a cheaper amount. I do want an attack, but I really feel like my attack right now is best represented... actually, it's probably best represented by something that multi-hits. because multi-hits would benefit multiple times from the Fury that I have. I'm going to reroll here with my 10. Indomitable Form. Any die, gain 10 block. Unrestorable. There's also, in case Azure holds a 1 to 4 pip die until end of turn, until next turn rather, and at the end of each turn you gain the block in it, and Seaward. 1 to 3, but it doubles the amount in block. I'm going to take Indomitable Form, and I'm probably not really going to use it that much. Like, I end fights pretty quickly, so it would not be a bad way for me to just, you know, push my way through fights. Full stop, I guess. I guess that's actually what I'm going to do. I could disenchant a spell here in order to gain 8 max health. There's none that I really want to get rid of, so I'm just going to gain the 10 current for free rather than paying 25 gold in order to overheal, and then it's time for a boss battle. This is the Heart of the Forest. The Void Corruption has taken hold in the forest, defended by roots which grow hazardous fruits. The heart itself debuffs your spells with Broken and grows its power continually. So we have the Heart of the Forest and 2 Roots of the Forest behind and in front of it. They are summoned units. They will die instantly if there's no leader in combat. And the Heart is a delicate unit. So if I deal 20 damage to it, it will stun it. It won't be able to take any actions this turn, so I'll aim to do that. Wow. You're really gonna do me dirty like that? Just give me everything I want? Just a bunch of 6s? I'm gonna do 5 damage to the unit in front. I don't have my... what's the word I'm looking for? My poison transference. No Sleet Sky activation. Sad life. Alright, Indomitable Form. And I'm just gonna get to work. Ten damage is done to the frontline unit with the Void Burn Sensor. Neither of them took a turn. Though this turn they're adding 5 block to all other enemies each. And the Heart of the Forest is debuffing 2 of our spells with Broken. But we do have... the Activator. Sleet Sky, so we have some Hailstorm going on. Each of these rerolls generating extra damage. We'll do that again in the Sleet Sky to double our amount of Hailstorm. So now we're getting 2 extra damage to our next shot every single time we roll a die. Perfection. So the Void Burn Sensor is 15. If I put... yeah, I'm going to directly take out the frontline unit myself. Only wasting 1 damage there, so that the overflow from the Void Burn Sensor still goes into the Heart of the Forest. And... then I might start targeting the root of the forest as well in the backline. Because I think I've got to be ready to take that unit out. So I'm using, or rather losing, sorry here, 3 health to the poison. Oh, yep, there's the Sleet Sky activator again. I'm so reliant on that 2 in Sleet Sky, I really feel like I need to do something to broaden my tolerances here. That's the second. I'm going to use a single Icicle Spear to take out the backliner with my Fury at the moment. And then I'm going back into reroll Hell. Let's use this Invoke Mana this turn. That's working well. Invoke some more mana. I mean, I am probably going to do enough damage here that the enemy is going to be stunned. So I'm not really going to have to worry about defending against them. There you go. I'll take damage to my own poison, but not to you. Thank you. And with that Sleet Sky activation, we're pretty close to guaranteed. Yeah, round conclusion here. Noxious Ritual is just generating more and more die and more fury. And we'll do exact damage to take out the Heart of the Forest. That's the victory of the first act here. Combat rewards give me 21 health back, so that's full HP. I gain some gold, 43 total. I gain a shard, that's going to be so useful. And a boss artifact. Dreadstone. Roll 1 dice extra each turn. However, also lose 1 health whenever an enemy dies. Or Ether Weave. On turn 1, roll 2 Ether of value 1 to 2. Ether dice persist between rounds, and they reduce the countdown of a random spell by X. The main problem with that is that I don't want to reduce the countdown of Invoke Mana or Noxious Ritual before Sleet Sky has gone off, so I don't think Ether's right for me. And then Hex Robes. Roll 1 extra die per turn, and then each turn enchant 1 random die with Vex. I think this is actually incredible for me, because it gives me the ability not only to hit a 2, and still use that for the sake of my Sleet Sky, but I could also hit a 3 on a Vex die. Sorry, I could hit a 3, and then use a Vex die, which will lower all of the other die that I currently have in the board by value 1. So lowers that 3 down to a 2, and then I can use it in Sleet Sky. Hex Robes is great here. I also reroll so many of my own die that I really don't worry about them having a lower value at any point in time. I want Noxious Ritual to gain extra dice and extra poison, and then Focused Toxin is going to be our final spell. I'm going to take Indomitable Form out because I'm generating so many dice at this point that I really ought to have the ability to play my rerolls out there. Hang on. I almost feel like I should drop Sleet Sky for Focused Toxin at the moment. Something like this. So we are not focused on Sleet Sky literally at all. However, I use Noxious Ritual to generate as much mana as I possibly can in a turn. And then I generate 4 poison on myself. And then I fund Focus Toxin in order to transfer my 4 poison off, as well as apply an additional 5 to a different target. So they're losing 9 health per turn, on top of Icicle Spear's damage. And the damage from the Voidburn Sensor. I think I can take this, but I do want Sleet Sky back in this build. I think this is probably right for the moment, though. Second act, Scorched Desert. None of these paths has 2 elites on it, so I'm going to take the left-hand path. Imp Raider and Imp Warrior. Imp Raider on death will apply 1 mark to us, and the Imp Warrior is doing 6 damage 2 times this turn. Alrighty then, let's see what's going on, eh? I'm going to generate a bunch of die from a Noxious Ritual. Generate a bunch more die from Noxious Ritual. Sick. I'm gonna do 5 damage 2 times to the backliner. And then roll fluctuate. Looking for a 6. Got it. Pop that in brine bubble. Do that again. And then I am putting 2 of you into focus toxin. 1 of you into another ice spear to hit backline. And then I can finish with the Vex die, which otherwise would have lowered the value of all of the die in hand, and I can transfer all of my poison off. Again, to that back guy, please. So I will be taking some damage this turn. Total of 4. Good Vex work. You really got me. Ooh, you really got me going. You got me so I don't know what is going on. Brine bubble. I'll start invoking some mana. Why not? I don't think I'm gonna be here long. Let's generate a ridiculous amount of die. And I still do want to reroll as many times as I can, because that's what the Void Burn sensor's for. Okay, I have a 4. A 5, and then a 5? You can see all of those had their value lowered at that point, but it doesn't matter because the final target is already going to die to the Sensor Burn. It's 21 damage because we rolled 21 die that turn. Replenishes Azure. Oh, cool. It's a 1 to a 2. You gain X block, and then you just straight up reroll the die. There's Crush. 5 countdown, 3 cost, and does 7 damage. And then finally, Inner Storm. Deals X damage to a random target 2 times. You can upgrade it to gain X block as well, or to accept it, or to be usable 4 times per turn. I do want something that hits multiple targets, so I can see Inner Storm being good for me. Do I want something that hits multiple targets, though, if I'm using this setup? How important is that? Because it feels like, you know, Sleet Sky and then damage to multiple targets, those form a pact, and I should have both of those at the same time. Oh, but I would take Ice Spear out, so it's just as soon as I add another that I will have space for it. Okay, yep, I'm taking Inner Storm. And I actually probably use Inner Storm in the interim as well. Ritual. Choose and gain a ritual. So a ritual is a spell of ultimate magic and can be used when the energy bar is filled. It will fill 1 per turn. Astral Attunement. Add 1 charge to a target spell. I can do that every second turn. Spell Catalyst. Enchant dice with Energized. I can also do that every second turn, and Energized, when inserted into a spell, increases that spell's damage and block by 4. And then finally, the Red Candle, -7 countdown to a target spell. Again, every second turn. I could also reroll here. -7 countdown on... -7 countdown doesn't matter at all to me, because I generate so many dice. This is unlikely to actually be valuable for me. Astral Attunement, the ability to do something 1 more time per turn. Sure, that could be fine. That could give me a lot more dice. I would love to visit a shop, so I can't go to the left-hand side of the map at the moment, because if I did, I'm veering over to an area where I don't get a single shop until the 3rd act. I'm gonna go over to the right. Lose Inner Storm. Inner Storm. Oh, my damage spell. But I gain the Silver Hauberk. Reduce health loss by 1. If I had the other boss relic, the one that was roll an extra dice per turn, and anytime you kill an enemy, lose an HP, this would be incredible. Lose Brine Bubble, and I can get Ghost Charm. On turn 1, I gain Dodge. Prevent the next time unblocked damage is received. Or lose Sleet Sky, and gain Storm in a Bottle. Storm in a Bottle says cast 10 spells, and that will give you 1 Hailstorm. Sleet Sky is still more powerful than that for the Hailstorm generation. I could lose Brine Bubble, because this gives me a relic, which is constantly active. And Brine Bubble at the moment, while it is in my thing, can just be substituted for Indomitable Form. I don't think enemies are going to survive enough turns for me to have to worry about the longevity of these two. Especially if I get, on turn 1, the ability to dodge the next incoming damage. I don't need to visit 2 shops, so I will take this elite battle and then visit the shop later. Hello. This is a Djinn. It is illusionary. Spawns illusions of itself every round. The illusion's health is reduced to 1 on first hit, and then dies when the leader dies as well. It's doing 8 by 2 damage to us at the moment. Slick. Let's see what we get it done here. So I am just going to be using Noxious Ritual. And focus Toxin this turn a lot. Tough Fluctuate. Let's transfer all of my Toxin over to you. I'm going to slap you twice with the Inner Storm. Realistically, I can't take any damage to you, otherwise I'll lose my dodge buff. So I'm more than happy to double block you with Indomitable Form this turn, so that I can keep my dodge. Then you take the damage to the Voidburn Sensor as well as the poison, so how can I be too sad about that? Add 1 extra charge to target spell. I'm going to do that to Noxious Ritual most likely here. And that's not a recoverable charge. That's not a permanent charge there. It won't come back next turn, unfortunately. So Inner Storm is going to be perfect here for trying to validate which of these targets I should have to worry about. Let's get started with that. Cool, the backline target is an illusion, but it would still do damage, so I do want it to get hit. There we go. Happens to take all of that damage. How much rerolling do I want to do this then? I could roll 6 more die right now, and then another 6 afterwards, so that takes this up to 9. That's 22 on the Voidburn Sensor, so 22 damage from the Voidburn Sensor, as well as 19 damage from the Toxin. That's not going to be enough to take you out. So I probably still want the Invoke mana available for the next turn. That said, I still won't have taken damage by the end of this turn. I'm using these extra rerolls just to get the Voidburn Sensor to do more damage. Beauteous. I can end my turn right now because they will die. Yep. They got poison. They take that damage before they do their turn, so we win. Last pot, and that's our extra artifact. Sorry, extra shard. But it is compared against an artifact, so we'll have a look at that as well. There's Toxic Mist, Rainfall, and Prescience here. Toxic Mist is 6 on Countdown, applies 2 poison to a random enemy 3 times, charges 1 per turn. Then Rainfall, also 1 charge per turn, only accepts a 5. You gain 3 Rain. Rain says at the start of your turn, reduce all Countdown spells by 3, and then remove a sack of Rain. Keen for a Countdown build at some point. There's also Mute on this, so it can't be played for 3 turns after you've used it. And then Prescience, gain 2 Foresight. Next turn, roll 2 extra die, and it costs 9 to do. It can also give you 2 power or be used an extra time per turn. None of those seem relevant to me at all, so I'm going to reroll here. Reality Ripple. Reroll all other dice for 6. You know how many rerolls that will count for the sake of all of our stuff? There's also Poison Fling here. Brine Bubble we've seen before. Poison Fling, 3 charges, only accepts an even, does 2 damage and applies 2 poison. I'm taking the Reality Ripple. Add 1 charge to a random spell 4 times, Astral Visor, or another shard. I've got to take the shard at this point, because I need my final slot. So here's Reality Ripple. And then I'm going to also put Sleet Sky in here. I have no defense in this build at the moment. Is this absurd? Here's the thing. I don't think so. I think this might actually be ridiculous. Because with Invoke Mana and Noxious Ritual, I can generate so many dice at the same time, and then I can use Reality Ripple to re-roll so many dice twice. At the end of all of that, my Void Burn sensor is going to say something like 40 damage to the first line target. And then with Hailstorm going off, Inner Storm is going to start wrecking things. Sad I won't have any ability to block. This is objectively too much. I should probably drop Fluctuate and put Indomitable Form into that. Because I have so many abilities to generate die that I think I can avoid having to reroll for the sake of matching the 2 at the start for Sleek Sky. Let's see how this goes. Frontline target is Magus, applying 2 Suppress. Suppress applies Broken to spells cast. And then the backline is Imp Hatchling. Imp Power. On death, transfer all power to random enemies, so obviously that'll be the Magus, and it's gaining 3 power this turn, so it's just going to buff itself. Okay. Well, let's see what we can get done here. Let's start with some Noxious Ritual. Ooh. Pretty ideal generations right there. Let's re-roll all other dice with Reality Ripple now. Oh, I got a 2. Put that into Sleet Sky. Ooh. Re-roll all other dice with Reality Ripple again. None of these are a 2. However, I can make a 2 by using my Vex die, the thing that I mentioned before. Another Sleet Sky, thank you. Do I start to invoke mana right now, or is that too much? I think if I was going to invoke mana, I should have done it before the Reality Ripple. Send the damage out to some random targets on field. Do that again. And then I am going to focus all of my Toxin on the backline target, which is going to take them out with poison before they even manage to gain any power. Oh, baby. 2 2s? What are you doing to me? I'll take that. I will absolutely take that. Let's sleep these skies. Excuse me? Suppress. Apply Broken to next spells cast this Whoa. Rude. I'm going to use my Split Potion now because I don't want to have to throw potions away at any point in order to split a die so that I can break that open. I'll cast it again. Hell yeah. I'm going to add a charge to that and cast it again as well. Let's use Noxious Ritual for a moment. Beautiful. Open that slot. Add another charge back to Sleet Sky. Gain a 3rd stack of Hailstorm, so I'm getting 3 Fury every time I roll a dice this turn. Now, I need to generate as many dice as possible. Okay, that's pretty good. That's a lot of dice. That's a lot of dice right there. And then I'm going to reroll all of them with Reality Ripple. Currently, I'm going to do 66 damage extra with my next attack, which is 71 damage to a random enemy 2 times. Cool. Okay, cool. Everything is working out. Let's pop 2 3s in this Reality Ripple for another full reroll. It's 35 from my Void Burn sensor, so I could just end my turn and let that happen. But I could also just Inner Storm the enemy for 92 2 times. This is what I have been working towards. And I do have another potion to pick up. Gold. 18 from that. Potion is the regeneration potion. Gain 5 health. Sorry, gain 5 regeneration and heal 5 health at the end of each turn, then reduce regeneration by 1, so reverse poison. And then spell. Poison detonation. Remove all poison on target and then deal 3 damage for each poison removed. I don't know about that. Seems better to leave him with the poison. Inundate, deal 8 damage, gain 1 foresight, or Vile Ritual, gain 3 power, and this will only accept 2 equal die. I receive a poison for doing that as well. None of that's important to me, so I'm happy to reroll. I have the Storm. What are you? Accept a 1 to a 3. It gives you 3 block, and then on a 2, you also gain a Hailstorm. On a 3, you gain a Concoction. Concoction is the next spellcast does not cast any charge. Concoction does seem like it would be really useful for generating a ridiculous amount of die. There's also Cold Snap, gain 5 Fury. No, I'm going to get Eye of the Storm. I just don't know if I'm going to be able to use it that much. Let's sub it in instead of Indomitable Form at the moment because I'm not really threatened and I've got Regeneration Vial as well as 2 Blast Pots if I get in some sticky business. Warlock in the front line, Decay Fairy in the back. Decay Fairy is looking to apply 2 Sap. Sap is a keyword that says reduce block from spells for 1 turn. Cool, that makes sense. Yeah, I can get some Sleet Sky going on here immediately and will do so. I'm going to throw the 6 into Noxious Ritual in order to knock the 3 down to a 2 from the Vex. Reroll as well. Come back. And I'm going to gain a Concoction so that it doesn't cost me anything to use Noxious Ritual here. Generating 3 die. So I use 2 die to generate 3, and then I'm going to gain a Concoction in order to do that to Noxious Ritual again. And then, heck, this is great. I think I can probably kill all of them this turn. I'm just going to continue. Pedal to the metal, etc. Okay, perfect. So that is 13. 13 die in front of us. I'm going to use one of these in Reality Ripple in order to reroll the other 12. Gaining 24 stacks of Fury. And then I'm going to do that again. Gaining 22 stacks of Fury this time. The Void Burn Sensor is going to do 47 damage at the end of the turn to the target in the front line. And I'm going to do 87 damage to a random target 2 times. Cool. Contamination, we've seen before. That is apply poison, and if the target is attacking, apply weak. There's also Rainfall here, and Poison Fling. We've seen all of these before. I'm not interested in any. I'm going to take the opportunity to reroll, just to try and see more. Accumulation. Oh my god. Okay, there's a lot of things going on here. So, Grasp Flow is probably the least interesting, but it's also interesting in a way. It is it takes even, it gives you 2 block, and then it re-rolls an odd dice. So it doesn't roll the input, it rolls a different die into something else. Okay, not as wild. Accumulation. For a 6 countdown, gain 1 block. Increase that amount of block by 1 for each dice rolled this turn. So I could just block 50 each turn a lot of the time. But there's also Frost Core, which is for a 6, 1 time a turn, double your Fury. So after that whole combo goes off, honestly, if I took Focus Toxin out and put Frost Core in, we're starting to just instantly kill things. Accumulation is so much defense. It truly feels, what's the word I'm looking for here? Irresponsible not to take. Ultimately, this is, do I want to finally take an option to give myself longevity in a fight? Or do I want to try and kill the enemy so quickly that there is no longevity? For them, especially. But it doesn't matter about for me. I don't need to run faster than the bear. I need to run faster than my other friend running from the bear. But, with context to an enemy instead. Oh, forgive me, Lord. I got the Frost Core. We're doing it. We're doing it. We're doing it live. We're doing it. It is gonna be done by us live. Time to go to the shop. I gotta buy some artifacts. Toxic Mists. Apply poison to random enemy a couple times. Deal X damage. Reroll lowest target. No. Akashic Aqua. Requires 2 even die. They don't have to be the same. You gain 8 block, and on an 8, so that's if you contribute a 2 and a 6, or a 4 and a 4, you gain 2 power as well. Cool. I can also sell spells here in order to start making some space. And honestly, Ice Spear probably does want to go at this point at the absolute least. And then there's artifacts here I can buy. Triple the chance, sorry, this is Lodestone Lens. Triple the chance of gaining rare spells and combats from, and rewards from combat rather. Stupefying Stone on turn 1, apply 5 weak to all enemies, and then the Illumine Necklace. For each 3 attack spells cast in a single turn, deal 10 damage to random enemy. That's not going to ever trigger for us. I'm going to take the Stupefying Stone. I'm going to take the Lodestone Lens as well, just because it can. I'm going to sell the Ice Spear. I think I'm going to just keep on moseying on, cowboy. That's what we were built to do. We've got a couple of Imp Hatchlings. We recall that those transfer all of their power to another random enemy on their death. And then finally we have a Desert Spirit here with 39 health. Was going to be attacking for 6x2, but it's only 1x2, courtesy of the weak from our Stupefying Stone. And has Shade Armor. Gain 4 block the next time it receives attack damage. It increases by 1 whenever it's triggered, and it resets to 4 at the start of the bonus round. So hitting this with multiple small instances would not work, which is fine, because I don't plan to. I need to get something for Sleet Sky, if I can. That'll do. I'll take a 2. I can work with this, generating another 2 using a 3 here. And in fact, I can do that with Eye of the Storm. And in doing so, I gain a concoction. So now I can gain 2 more stacks of Hailstorm. Oh, this is perfect. Let's reroll all other dice with a reality ripple. Oh wow, hugely low value on these. That said, I'll still take out 2 targets instantly with the Inner Storm, which is good enough for me. And then my Void Burn Sensor will take out the frontline target for me at the end of the turn as well. No! Punished! Overchill. On an odd, it will gain X block, and then when it's depleted, you gain 1 power, 3 charges to deplete for it. And then Polar Nexus, gain 1 fury for each block. Takes a 6, has 1 charge. No! I could have done that! If I had the other defensive option, the +1 for every time you've rerolled a dice this turn, I would simply blow everything out of the water with the Polar Nexus afterwards. What a shame. I think I'll still take it just in case I get the opportunity to do something like that with a different setup later. Up to another Sanctuary. I'm just gonna take the extra health again, I think. Yeah. I don't want to go for the extra max health there. I might in the future. I kind of do want to now. I just don't want to get rid of any of my spells. I like it. Oh my god. Are you... You really? You for really real? Well, I'm just going to start Sleet Skying. Let's go. That'll work. Start getting noxious. I really want to have a 3 for the Eye of the Storm before I continue on my Noxious. And, you know, 2 for a Hailstorm isn't awful either for what that's worth. There we go. 3 gives me a Concoction, so now I can cast a Noxious Ritual, generating another 3 without having to worry about paying for it, and then do it again. Perfect. Reality Ripple rolls all of the other dice in hand, and with another 6 I can see, I'll do that again. So at the end of this we have 98 Fury. Oh, that's hilarious. At the end of this, we have 98 Fury, and I failed to roll a 6 in all of these. So Frostcore is not going to be triggered this turn. I'm not going to be doubling my 98 Fury. That's so rude. Alas. I'm still pretty okay with that turn. Oh, hell yeah. Again, starting with a 2. We take those. Yeah, I can't add a charge to the invoke mana. I had to assume that was going to be the case, but still had to try. Still had to try. Not generating a ridiculous amount of dice this time. Total of 10. And I'm only re-rolling 9 with the first Reality Ripple. I don't have a 5 here. That's okay. I'm not going to risk it this time. I will just take my extra 36 on Fury and then do 75 damage to a random target 2 times. There's not 2 targets with 75 health on them. Heal back up, take some gold, another shard, and a boss artifact. Cast 12 spells, roll the dice. Okay, how many spells do I typically cast in a turn? On a good turn? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. That's not enough. 7, 8, 9, 10, maybe if I optimize for Eye of the Storm. I can get to 12 if I use Invoke Mana. That doesn't look good. Roll an extra die each turn. Each turn receive 2 weak. Reduces attack damage on target for 1 turn. Do I look like I care about 2 weak? Roll +1 dice each turn. Rolled 6, lose 1 value. I can't do that. I need my 6s for some stuff. I've got an additional shard, which I can use to triple Fury, and that will allow me to do it with multiple different die in value. That's actually probably the way I should go, legitimately. +1 to Concoction from Eye of the Storm would also be really sick for generating a stupid amount of dice. Reality Ripple, I could lower its cost, or I could give it Foresight for the next turn. And then Sleet Sky, I could give you the ability to be cast once more per turn. Honestly, it comes down to 1 extra Concoction on entering a 3 into Eye of the Storm, or the tripling of Frost Core. I'm going to go with the tripling of Frost Core. Just because of how much it hurt to not be able to use the Frost Core on the turn that it was going wild. I don't want that to ever happen to me again. 2 elites on left-hand side, so you know what we gotta do. You know we had to do it to them. Although, there's no late shop. So I should consider going to the early shop so I can actually offload some of this gold. Okay, here we have Wrath Voidling, 2 Fierce Voidlings, and a Guardian Voidling. The Wrath Voidling in the first line says Frenzy. When casting a spell, gain 1 Fury. And then the Guardian Voidling in the back line says Tenacity. Block is not removed between rounds and has 30 block itself. Cool. Alright. Oh, I can't use that in Eye of the Storm because I want to use it in Sleet Sky. Alright. I'm gonna lower the value of my die so that I can get a 3 into a 2 to make a Sleet Sky roll. Let's invoke a little mana. Please invoke better mana for us. You keep rolling high, and I don't know how to tell you that's what I don't want you to do. Let's use Eye of the Storm so that I can use Noxious Ritual for free. Oh my god, that's so many 6s. I'm going to take an early Reality Ripple here just so I can try and get a 2. I got 1. That's great. And then I even have a 3 to get the Concoction from Eye of the Storm, so I can Noxious Ritual yet again. And then 1 more time before I start using the Reality Ripple. Thing is, I don't need to triple my Fury right now. I just need to be able to hit more targets. Frontline target is going to be taken out by the Voidburn Sensor anyway. Whoa, my poison! I forgot that I take my poison damage because of the Noxious Ritual. Forgot about that entirely. Let's go Eye of the Storm, and then I'm going to use 3 charges of Sleet Sky over here. Another charge on Noxious Ritual, and I will gain a Concoction before even using its first charge. Need you to generate all of my dice, you see that. And that'll do it. Hit him with the Inner Storm for the finisher. I'm not even going to Frostcore him. You're not worth it to me. Flask of Echoes. Gain a Spell Echo. Next spell is cast twice. I'm going to throw away one of my Blast Pots in order to pick that up. Toxic Knowledge. On a 5 and a 6, only one cast per turn. On 5, gain 2 Toxic Skin. Retaliate with 2 poison to attackers. On 6, gain extra 2 charges. And reroll dice. Oh, so you Right, this is a way to... I mean, do I want this? It just it launders 6s into other things. I like 6s. Diminishing Blade deals 6 damage 2 times, and then decreases its damage by 2 this combat. Maybe early on I could see the value in that, but oof, that's a hard downside right there. Inundate for 10 countdown, deal 8 damage and gain a foresight. I'm gonna reroll just to see what's in there. Tidal Hoboken. +1 block gained from spells for the rest of the combat. There's also Deluge, 7 countdown, only castable once per turn. Deal 7 damage to the front enemy, increase by 1 for each block, and then Poison Detonation. I'm gonna take Tidal Hoboken, but I'm not gonna use it. Time for another ritual. Toggle Bloodlust, 33% extra damage, but 33% extra damage received. There's also Manifold Gatestone. Enchant 2 random dice with Manifold. Gives them double the effect in countdown, sockets, and X effects. And then finally, there's -7 to a target spell's countdown. I'm honestly not over the moon about any of these. I'm going to take a reroll. Odd Cascade. Roll 3 odd dice. So Fortune's Favor. +3 value to all dice. And Soul Grasp. I'm going to take Fortune's Favor. Because I think that will roll over. That is to say, I think if I upgrade a 6 with that, it will give me a new 3. Because there's no 9 side on a D6. On a standard D6, let me clarify just in case. Crashing Wave, 1-4, and another 1-4, but they have to be equal. Deals that damage to all enemies. Brine Bubble we'll see again, and Deluge we'll see again as well. Trap Spellwind on turn 1, roll a dice. I love an additional dice on turn 1. Bowl of Holy Water, 15 max HP extra. Or Skjoldor. On health loss, gain delayed block equal to the health loss. I'm gonna take the 15 extra max HP for the moment, actually, friend. And I will sell off a couple of things here. Polar Nexus and Tidal Hoboken. And that's enough back if I wanted to take Skjoldor. And I do, because I have no reason not to right now. Ooh, there's even a potion for reroll all dice. You know what? I'm gonna buy that instead of my Blast Pot and move on out of here. We're up against a Void Ooze. It splits into 2 smaller oozes when it dies, and the spawns inherit half the power of the original. Ooh. Sleet Sky, and then I'll use Eye of the Storm to give me the ability to roll a Sleet Sky for free. And I'll use another Eye of the Storm for another concoction in order to roll Noxious Ritual for free. Just looking for another 2, hopefully. I am going to be going off this turn as well, so... Here we are, that's the extra 2. I should take out the enemy as soon as I have the opportunity to. Wonder if maybe I don't want to use the rest of my invoked manas this turn, because I'm going to have to deal with you splitting. How many times are you going to split? Questions for the ages, you see. I have 11 dice at the moment. If I reroll all of my dice using one of them, that's 10 rerolls. I have 3 hailstorms, that's 30, which means the inner storm would be enough to take the enemy out. And it doesn't matter if I get above that number anyway. This gives me the ability to hold on to power for a next turn if there needs to be one. Inner storm will take you out. And now there's 250s on the board. Cool. And I can totally work my way through 250s that have no modifiers on them, no other adjustments. Another reality ripple. Boom. That'll take us all the way up to 42 Fury. And that's a simple system of give a Frost God of that, gain another 84, up to 128 Fury. 129 to each of you. You both have 50 health, so you are very dead. No saving throws. Toxic Mist, Poison, Detonation, and Inundate. We've seen all of these before, but for the sake of just seeing more things, I will reroll. Wash Away, a 7 countdown. Can only be used once per turn. Rolls 1 dice. And you gain 1 Surge. Surge says apply 1 weak to all enemies when gaining block for a turn. There's also another Rainfall and Blizzard, which just gives you Hailstorm. Which, honestly, is not bad. We are paying very high cost for Hailstorm at the moment via Sleet Sky. But it's still not better, either. Let's get some more shards. That'll truly make this run pop off. The Orb of Infinity. Sick. The Orb of Infinity is currently dealing 3 damage 3 times and debuffing 3 random spells with Unstable. Unstable says it spawns an instability the first time the spell is cast each turn. So I'm going to be summoning your allies for you. Got it. Got it. Start with some Sleet Sky, because that's what I want to do. It's going to be difficult for me to get a 2 out of this without just naturally rolling into it. Hey-oh, just naturally rolled into it. Let's gain a concoction so I can use Ritual, Noxious Ritual for free, and then I'll do the same again. Okay, and then I'll cast Noxious Ritual for the last time. I'll finish invoking the rest of my mana. This enemy is so dead. They don't even know. Big Reality Ripple. Up to 62 Fury. The only way you survive is if my second reroll doesn't produce any odd die. Ooh, tough luck there, bud. That one's just not going to cut it. Again, 176 Fury for plus 264 attack damage on the next attack. And I'm going to hit you for 267 twice. Good. Split Potion, it's not better than the potions I have at the moment, I don't think. Another spell, Diminishing Blade, we've seen before. Wash Away, we've seen before. Seaward, we've seen before. I'm going to reroll all of these. Poison Detonation, Tidal Hobuk, and Vile Ritual, we've seen all of these before, but I'm still not going to be using them, so just take whatever. Staff of Lightning, on 3 rolled, deal 3, sorry, on a 6 rolled, deal 3 damage to all enemies. That is kind of cool, admittedly. But, like, I haven't got an upgrade on Reality Ripple yet, which could just... I don't even need to lower its cost. And honestly, Foresight and losing a Reality Ripple is probably not good. Do I want to upgrade? I do want to upgrade Eye of the Storm. Wow, that's actually not that many that I want to up. I also should upgrade Sleet Sky so that I don't have to roll so many times to actually hit its effect. So yeah, I have something to do with the next 2 shards I get. The extra concoction would be sick. Like, absolutely nasty. Just constantly generating ridiculous results from Noxious Ritual. That's 4 more charges of Noxious Ritual per turn in a best case scenario. This is the Mana Devourer. Leftover dice will be fed to the Devourer, each reducing stacks by X. At 0 stacks, apply stun and receive critical. And this is fine. I'm gonna put a 3 into the Eye of the Storm first. And then a 1 into Invoke Mana. Perfect. So now I have 2 2s, and I still have a concoction, so I can hit Sleet Sky twice. Perfect. I hit another 3, so that's my next Eye of the Storm paid for. Which gives me the ability to play my Noxious Ritual. Again, twice for free. And then I still have the ability to play it 2 more times naturally. All of this is before I even start to invoke mana. Big ol' Reality Ripple reroll on all of the other die that I have. And look, why not do that again? It was so fun the first time. And very finally, let's charge up our Frost Core, tripling our Fury. And we now do 447 attack damage extra on the next attack. So I'll do 450 damage to this enemy twice. If you had 901 health, I'd be screwed. Cold Snap, Channel Azure, and Cold Wash. Again, we've seen all of these before. Roll, Deluge, Toxic Knowledge, which I'll just take, I guess. And drop Vile Ritual. I don't need any of these. These are not for me. The enemy is a Chaos Angel this time, dealing 20 damage and applying 2 sap. Sap, you'll recall, reduces block gain from spells for a single turn. And they also have the presence, Depleting Presence. All spells only restore 1 charge per turn. Oh, that's kind of nightmarish. That's terrifying. It's not going to affect me, but that's wild. Oh, I got so cocky. Wow, this is good. This is good as well. I'm going to Eye of the Storm now with my 3. It's Noxiously Ritual. Invoke Mana, doing both for free. Unfortunately, I still don't have all of my Hailstorm, but I don't think I will need it. Oh, I finally got the extra 2. Final Noxious Ritual, generate a bunch more mana with the Invoke Mana, and then it's time for the Reality Ripple, which is really where this gets popping off. I'll have 69 Fury, please. Fun for everyone. And then let's take that up to 101 if we can. Beauty. Hit the enemy for 306 damage, twice. See, Inundate, Akashic Aqua, Winter's Bite. This is a new one. Accepts a 2 on a countdown, deals 3 damage, and when it's depleted, you roll a dice. And Deluge, Brine Bubble, and Rainfall again. I'll take Deluge, and then I'll skip taking Deluge, because I don't need it. Damned Shield. Each turn, gain a power, but receive a sap. Turns don't pass. That's not a thing that happens. I don't end my turn. I end the enemies. Let's get our Sleet Sky to accept a broader value of die. We're up against 2 Abyss Walkers and a Pylon of Enfeeblement. The Pylon of Enfeeblement is a summoned unit and has a weakness aura. Each turn it applies 2 weak to us. It's also attempting to apply Spell Mirror to another enemy. Until the end of turn, redirects the first targeted spell back to you. So I don't think Inner Storm would even count, because that's not technically targeted. Cast Eye of the Storm here first. And Sleet Sky. Twice with the Vex die, lowering the value of all of my die again. Let's go for another Eye of the Storm. For even more concoction. And I'm going to start doing the same thing again. Even more Sleet Sky. So by the end of this, I will have 6 Hailstorm. And very few die. 6 Hailstorm. Which I can start using to generate all of the other die I need. Yeah, I'm currently at the point of doing 70 damage to a random enemy. Twice. Just need to get a little bit higher and then send out the first volley for 82 damage to a random enemy twice. Great, and then I just need to keep rerolling. Final Invoke Mana, and then we can go for the Reality Ripple twice. And take out the final target. I swear, not all runs get ridiculously nutty like this. This is this is a case of playing on the tutorial difficulty, as well as kinda understanding these games. Icicle Blade, Deluge, and Watch Away. We've seen all before. Reroll. Water Vortex, a 1 to a 4 on an even, gain 1 power. On an odd, gain 1 barrage. Neat. Still don't want it, so we'll skip it. Let's head to the Sanctuary. And I'll pay for health this time, just so I'm on full HP by the fight, although I was already going to be. Boss battle, Arcanax. Arcanax, the Void God, embodies hellfire, decay, and corruption, but not at the same time. Defeat to win the game. Let's do this, Arcanax. Looking cool. Corruption, cannot lose more than 200 health per turn. Damn. Okay, look, sure, I deserve it. I'm not gonna say I don't deserve it. But did you have to? Okay. Well, that tells me what kinds of things I should invest in. I'm not going to be using my Invoke Mana a bunch of times. Probably not going to be using my Noxious Ritual a ridiculous amount of times here even. But I do have to do 200 damage this turn. So I'm going to have to use some of them. I don't think I should Eye of the Storm my Noxious Ritual that many times. I'm going to Eye of the Storm my Sleet Sky instead. Oh man, those are all really low value. Please stop rolling the lowest diebold. I don't want to have to throw all of my invoked mana at it. Let me hit the Noxious Ritual twice here. This'll help. I have the Storm, and now I have 2 Concoction. So now I can invoke mana much more comfortably. Because I'm not spending charges on it while I'm doing it. Perfect. That's the first 200 done to you, buddy. Now you're invulnerable, and you're going to be gaining some power, I see. Well, nothing to be done about that. And I'll start the regeneration bar next turn after the poison has started to take effect. Arcanax has now gone all hellfire on us. Can't lose more than 200 health and is doing +1 attack damage. Sure. That's fine by me. Let's go for the Eye of the Storm yet again so that I can start invoking some mana. Fine, I'll just gain another Hailstorm from it. That'll be okay. Let's gain the regeneration right now as well. And I'm gonna gain another charge on Noxious Ritual this turn as well. A little worried that I might not be able to reach the peak of my damage here. But I will be able to. Perfect. 2 5s into the Frost Core, and that's enough damage to get you back to invulnerable. And then at the end of the turn, sure, I have to take some damage myself, but it pales. It pales next to yours. Decay, another 200 damage, and you are currently going to be doing Infected and Sap. Okay. Love a good Eye of the Storm there. Get some free rolls on Sleet Sky. Oh, and actually another free Eye of the Storm. Keep the train going. Start invoking some mana. More work out of the Eye of the Storm. I'll invoke some more mana. Let's use our Hex die to invoke 2 mana so that I can get rid of it. As soon as I have the largest amount of dice in hand, I'll hit the Fortune's Favor. Yep, I get a bunch of extra die. Turns a bunch to 6s and gives me all of the overflow. Then it's time to pop our Reality Ripple once, twice, and then actually 4 times, because I'm going to use the Flask of Echoes in order to echo one of the spell casts. Looking good, and then I'm gonna re-roll all of my dice again. With all of that, we end up with 432 Fury, which I triple into 1,296 extra damage on the next attack. And then I'm gonna do that damage twice. So just under 26,000 damage. Of course, the enemy can't take more than 200, but they'll also be dead by that point, so who's splitting hairs? Victory. That count as lightning speed? I'll win 5 combats in the first turn. Yeah, that counts. Okay, so I'll have a look at all of the things that we managed to complete in that single run in a second, but we've unlocked mutation stages. The ever-changing abyss is transforming into something even more deadly. You can now play the game with increasingly difficult mutation stages. Those mutation stages we'll start on in the next episode, but for the interim, I managed to complete an achievement for gaining 100 block, for buying 3 artifacts from a single shop, for casting 20 spells in a single turn, for rolling 50 dice in a single turn, for dealing 200 damage with a single spellcast, for winning a game with Water A, and for reaching level 2. So a lot of these seem like they would have come for free generally, but a couple of these seem like they were specific to the kind of nuttiness that was in that build. What a run! What a run! Let's hit return. And we can see we've unlocked the Tome of Protection. New spells can be unlocked from the Tome of Protection, as well as a new character, Hazel the Earth Mage, capable of making rock and dirt move to help or hurt. We've also unlocked the Tome of Offense. New spells can be unlocked in the Tome of Offense. We've also got a new loadout of base spells for Lapis, a mana inversion, which flips a dice upside down. If you're unfamiliar with the net of a dice, 1 is opposite 6. All of the opposites make 7 as a total. So 1's opposite 6, 3 is opposite 4, 2 is opposite 5. And on an even, you can deal X damage with a Frost Ray, and on an odd, you can gain X block with Hydro Clasp. Interesting. And also I have unlocked a spell in the Tome of Protection, which we just unlocked. And an artifact vault. Open the artifact vault to discover the new artifact that we've unlocked. So we've discovered the Runic Infuser, add 1 charge to all countdown spells on turn 1. We've also discovered Tempest. After we've counted down on 3 spells, -3 to the leftmost countdown spell. Neat. The Staff of Splintering, the first 3 rolled each turn is split into 3 1s, wow. The Tablet of Anger, on any spell depleted, gain a Fury. In the Tome of Protection, we've also gained the spell Glaciate. On a 1 to a 5, gain X block and X delayed block. That seems pretty cool. And then in the Tome of Offense, we haven't gained anything yet, because the mission, deal 500 damage, was not yet available, it appears. In the next episode, we'll be exploring the next character, as well as the first level of mutation. But for the moment, let me just say, first off, congrats to Guidelight Games on making such an enjoyable game. sincerely appreciate this. It has been a very long wait on my behalf, watching the development process of this and trying to decide when it would be appropriate to really start a series on it. And that's now. For the moment, my name has been Rhapsody. The name of the game has been SpellRogue. Top left is a series playlist for all my content on this game, present and future. Down below is a YouTube's recommendation for what it thinks you should watch next, and stream past the names of the people so generally supporting the Republic on patreon.com/RhapsodyPlays at or above the thank tier. And a special thanks this episode to Diamond Fox. Hopefully you'll have been enjoying yourselves, and hopefully we'll see you all next time.